Okay, breaking news from the Middle East. China and Saudi Arabia signed the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement, which is a major step for China to advance into the Middle East and a major step for China to build the Belt and Road westward. Kissinger said, "Whoever controls oil controls the world." The Middle East is the world's largest oil producer and the world's largest oil exporter. The United States has always regarded the Middle East as a global strategic high ground, and has not hesitated to launch many Middle East wars and support Israel to establish a state in the Middle East in order to strengthen its control over the Middle East. The Middle East is an area that the United States does not allow other countries to meddle in. After the Cold War, the Middle East was basically firmly controlled by the United States. It was not until the opposition supported by the U.S. military was defeated by the Russian-Syrian-Iranian coalition forces in Syria that the U.S. military's Middle East strategy shifted from offense to defense. The Middle East is also very important to a rising China. The Middle East is China's largest energy importer, and Saudi Arabia is China's largest oil importer. So, as the relationship between China and Saudi Arabia is getting closer, what are the benefits for the two countries? In addition, some believe that the biggest highlight of Sino-Saudi cooperation is the Petrodollar. The U.S. Petrodollar system is based in the Middle East. If the RMB can become an important settlement currency for oil in the Middle East, China will get rid of the Petrodollar system. Is this possible? Okay. That and more is exactly what we are going to talk about today. First of all, the upgrade of China-Saudi Arabia relations has 5 major benefits for China. The first is to ensure the security of energy supplies such as oil and natural gas. Second, to expand foreign trade demand, increase exports of medium and high-end products, and promote industrial upgrading. The oil countries in the Middle East all have a common characteristic: rich and imperfect industries. Their industry mainly revolves around oil, mainly oil extraction and oil refining. However, there are no achievements in consumer industries such as 5G communications, construction engineering, digital electronics, textiles and clothing, automobile manufacturing, and aerospace. Although they can't make high-quality products, they have money and can afford them. Saudi Arabia has high-quality consumer demand, and China just needs to push high-quality mid to high-end industries overseas. In addition, Saudi Arabia is planning to spend $1 trillion to build a 170 kilometers long linear megacity. China is essential for such a mega infrastructure: 5G communications, building construction, air conditioning and TV, power grids, and tram tracks, all of which China can provide in complete quality and quantity. If Saudi Arabia intends to build a high-speed railway in the desert, China also has a wealth of experience. In Urumqi, Xinjiang, China, a high-speed rail has been opened since 2014. The third is to go overseas with Chinese brands and culture. At the World Cup in Qatar, you can clearly see the advertisement of Hisense Central Air Conditioning. 2021, Hisense overseas revenue of $73.1 billion, accounting for 42% of Hisense's total revenue. The proportion of independent brands is as high as 80%. Not only Hisense, but also Midea, Huawei, TCL, China Railway, Wanda, Chang'an, etc. have become very well-known Chinese brands in the Middle East. Among them, Chang'an was among the top 3 for the first time in the list of Saudi Arabia's auto sales. In addition to the manufacturing industry, in terms of the cultural industry, Chinese games are even more dominant in Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries. The top 5 games in Saudi Arabia's best-selling list have long been occupied by Chinese game manufacturers. Fourth, China's new energy can further expand overseas markets. Saudi Arabia, which relies on oil energy to make a fortune, also has anxiety about getting rid of oil dependence. 40% of Saudi Arabia's land area is desert. In the photovoltaic industry, Deserts are gold. Putting photovoltaics on the desert and introducing Huawei's energy storage management system, Saudi Arabia has built a brand new Red Sea New City. According to Saudi Arabia's plan, the Red Sea New City will be the first city in the world to use all clean energy. Regarding this point, we also talked about Huawei's world-leading photovoltaic power generation technology in the previously posted video. The fifth is to promote the export of military industry. China and Saudi Arabia have always maintained a friendly military trade cooperation relationship. At the Zhuhai Air Show this year, the military trade synthetic brigade launched by China's military industry was even more tailor-made for Saudi Arabia. For Saudi Arabia, upgrading its relationship with China also has huge benefits. In my opinion, there are mainly 3 points. First, to maintain the largest customer for oil exports. China, as the world's #1 manufacturing country, has a huge demand for oil consumption and spends more than $300 billion on oil imports every year. In 2021, in the Sino-Saudi trade, Saudi Arabia's exports to China total $57 billion, while Saudi Arabia's imports to China are $30 billion. Second, spending money to buy security. Located in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia is very insecure. However, China's arms trade does not attach any political conditions, which leaves no additional political burden on Saudi Arabia. As China's weapon technology becomes more and more advanced, Saudi Arabia also increasingly does not want to be tied to the United States. The third is to promote the modernization transformation of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Crown Prince Salman Jr. is a monarch with big dreams. His economic reform focuses on 2 directions. One is to take the direction of capital and finance, such as investing heavily in Apple, etc. The other is to take the direction of technological modernization. Saudi Arabia does not have a high-tech foundation, but Saudi Arabia has money. They can directly buy high-tech and modernize Saudi Arabia. The Linear Urban Plan is a landmark project of Saudi Arabia's modernization. Saudi Arabia does not need technology, but as long as Saudi Arabia builds the city, it will allow 9 million people in Saudi Arabia to live a world-class luxury citizen life. This will make Saudi Arabia's infrastructure construction far ahead of the world and greatly improve the quality of life of Saudi citizens. The cooperation between China and Saudi Arabia has a demonstrative role. Once the cooperation between China and Saudi Arabia has made significant progress, neighboring countries such as the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Iraq, Kuwait, and Egypt will all strengthen their cooperation with China. So, can China take this opportunity to get rid of the petrodollar system? The answer, of course, is that it can't. There has not been a major turning point in the power comparison between China and the United States, and the strength of the United States still lies above that of China. The oil countries in the Middle East will definitely not take risks at this time. The only alternative to the petrodollar system is to gradually reduce dependence on petrodollars. For example, China-Russia oil trade and China-Iran oil trade have reached an agreement on RMB settlement, and even Australia's BHP Billiton's iron ore trade has reached a part of RMB settlement agreement. In addition, the UAE and China have 30 billion aerospace cooperation, and Saudi Arabia also wants to take advantage of the Chinese moon landing to send its own lunar rover to the moon. In the future, it is not impossible for the Tiangong space station to accept an Arab astronaut. Okay, that's all for today. Please put your comments below and share your insightful ideas with other people. Your precious time with us is highly appreciated. See you.